Welcome into Illini Drive. It's Josh Pietsch and Carson Gourdie here. Sorry about the late start. We're just going to jump right into it today. It's the NFL Draft, April 29th. Came a lot quicker than I thought it did, probably due to COVID and stuff like that, because it was a little later last year. Carson, we're going to start with a little bit of news kind of beyond the draft. It's about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. He says he's unhappy. Everyone knows he has been for a while, but now he's threatening to not even come back to the team. What do you take of this?
So for Chicago Bears fans that think they're going to get Aaron Rodgers or 49ers, he's not going to go anywhere. I don't think so. I don't blame him that he's a little upset. I mean, you go 13-3 back-to-back years, and he's had no Super Bowl appearances to show for it. And I think the final straw was kicking the field goal when down 8. I think that really grinds his gears. You got Jordan Love right behind him. In all seriousness, like if LaFleur actually thinks that he is the guy, Jordan Love, I would trade Aaron Rodgers. You're going to get a ton of you're going to open up a bunch of cap space. You're going to get assets, and you can build around Jordan Love and improve that defense, get a better offensive line, get another talented wide receiver. If you truly believe Jordan Love's the guy, get rid of Rodgers.
So I think that Rodgers has every reason to be unhappy. You haven't had great defenses. You're losing all these NFC championships. They draft no skill position players in the first round, instead taking a quarterback in Jordan Love, who obviously looks like the replacement. And it's just frustrating. You're taking like some linemen, which is fine, but like defensive players that haven't made too much of a difference. Like if I'm Rodgers, I'm unhappy too. My guess is that he probably sat down today with LaFleur and the GM, and there's no speculation on this. This is just my guess. He sat down with them, asked them who they were taking, didn't hear what he wanted to hear, and he was like, that's it. And he probably walked out and talked to people and said, I'm done here.
I think it's been a little bit longer just because the 49ers did offer the third-round pick and other assets for Aaron Rodgers. I think maybe even Jimmy G was included just so they could dump him. But the thing with Aaron Rodgers, he is a West Coast guy. I mean, he's not a Midwest cheesehead. Mm-hmm. It's probably just he wants to go back home. And I think he sees what Tom Brady did. I mean, Tom Brady was in a pretty good situation with the Patriots. However, it did get frustrating. It was a pretty good situation. Everyone was like, oh, the dynasty's over. He's old because they only went 11-5 and lost to the Titans. But I think he sees that, Stafford's going to L.A. He's going to be rejuvenated. Tom Brady rejuvenated in Tampa. Like, if Aaron Rodgers went to the 49ers with Shanahan's offensive capabilities, with the very strong running backs, good defense, the 49ers could very well win the NFC. And I think he sees that. Because he knows what he's going to get with the Packers.
So I was talking to my friend Julian today, who is a very big Packers fan. He understands it. He's like, if I'm Rodgers, I go out too, and he's prepared for 10 years or whatever of pain and sadness. But the team that I suggested was the 49ers as well. I think that'd be the perfect pick. Do this huge package. The Packers have Jordan Love anyways. With that third pick, take someone good. I would take Devontae Smith. We'll get into our mock drafts in a second, but not sure what else there is to say on Rodgers. I'm with you. Actually, I don't think they're going to do anything. I think that he's going to be playing for Green Bay come August. But
what would you give up for Rodgers? Let's say you're the GM of the Carolina Panthers.
This year's first, next year's first, a quarterback, a good offensive lineman.
Yeah. You'd have to sell, you got to give them everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
To get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. I mean, Rodgers, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions, is the most talented quarterback of all time.
Oh, 100%.
He's not the greatest. That's Brady.
There's a difference between iconic and talented.
He's the most talented for sure. Between his arm, his IQ, and his feet, there's really no doubt in my mind, with second probably being Montana and then maybe Mahomes in 5 or 10 years. But, if you're trading for the best player of all time, you're going to have to give up.
Well, how many more years has Rodgers got, you think? I think
3 or 4.
3 or 4. I could see him push 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I mean, if Brady's still slinging it, I think Rodgers will too.
I think Rodgers is still the elite of the elite. I mean, he just won an MVP, for God's sake.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't
great.
throw picks. I mean, he has the best touchdown-interception ratio of all time.
Yep.
It just I think it's over with Green Bay. I feel like even if he does stay, just realistically, I don't think they have the chemistry to win a Super Bowl. And something's always going to come up.
I agree. All right. He's still going to beat the Bears, but
yeah, okay, you beat the Bears. You're going to beat the Chiefs. I don't know. You're going to beat Tampa Bay this year.
Good point.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of the Bears, before we get into our mock drafts, because that's what we're going to do today, the Bears, according to CBS, quote unquote, badly want to trade up from number 20 because they have a QB in mind. They haven't said where they want to go. They haven't said which QB it is. They're being pretty quiet, but they're very open about the fact that they want to move up. Carson, I don't know how much you know about the draft order right now or who needs what. 1, do you think the Bears are going to move up? 2, if they do, where do you think? And 3, which quarterback do you think they have their eye on?
I think the most realistic quarterback option for the Chicago Bears is Justin Smith. I mean, what am I saying? Justin Fields.
All right.
Justin Smith is another guy I know. But because the thing is, okay, Lawrence gone. Obviously, Zach Wilson, for some reason, the Jets thinks he's the greatest guy ever. And then it's going to be a combination of Trey Lance and Mac Jones. Like, they are not falling out of the top 10. Justin Fields had some shaky performances last year at Ohio State. Indiana picked him off 3 times. Northwestern held him to 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He was great against Clemson, but he looked very mediocre against Alabama. Like, he's got the legs, but I don't know if people see him as a bona fide NFL prospect with a ceiling as high as like Trey Lance. So if I see Justin Fields laying around the 12, 13 area, I would trade up and get him because I think he's worth it at that point.
I don't know which area again?
Like 12, 13.
So you do think Fields is going to fall that
I think
low?
I think he's gonna drop personally because at number 3, like the 49ers, there's no hype with Justin Fields. It is Mac Jones.
It's done.
For Trey.
Yeah, it's over.
Like that's what it is. So Justin Fields probably around the 8-12 range. That's where he'll be picked, and that's like 8's pushed in my opinion. So if I'm the Chicago Bears, I mean he is better than Andy Dalton. You do get to develop him, and I don't think you would have to give up as much to get a Justin Fields as you would if you want to grab Zach Wilson or Trey Lance.
So I personally think they also have their eye on Fields, which is good for pace. If him getting a black quarterback would look really good for him in the organization, considering everything that happened in free agency. I personally think that they're looking for top 10. I think that they have their eye on Detroit's number 7 pick. I think that number 20, Anthony Miller, and a 3rd or a 4th could get them from 20 to 7. Would Lions fans like it? No. Is it super realistic? Probably not. But if the Bears do that, boom, you can either get Mac Jones or Justin Fields, and if somehow Trey Lance falls, you get him. I mean,
Mac's going 3. I'm telling you right now.
Probably, but still some people seem to think the Patriots could get him at 15.
The one thing I'll say is the front office of the 49ers loves Lance because, you know, his final year at North Dakota State, he ran for 1,100 yards, 28 touchdowns, no picks. Like, he is super athletic. I feel like I would take Lance over Mac Jones. But the thing is, Shanahan really just wants that pocket passing presence, which he's more comfortable with. You know, he had a Matt Ryan. He had a Jimmy Garoppolo. It made him productive. I think he sees Mac Jones and a guy that had the highest quarterback efficiency for any quarterback in college football history. And I think he feels like he can build a winner around him.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But, like, I don't know, with Mac, it just kind of vanilla with me. I mean, you did have the Heisman Trophy winner at wide receiver. You have 3 fantastic running backs. I mean,
you've got a lineman that is going to go really, really
You got
high.
a defense that's going to shut down the other offense early, so there's not really pressure. I mean, it's hard to nitpick with Alabama, but, like, A.J. McCarron won a bunch of games, too. Tua Tagovailoa had a great season at Alabama, a couple seasons, but in the NFL, he's kind of a game manager. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's like for sure, oh, Mac Jones threw 40 touchdowns in college, he's going to do it in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, I think...
And he's not athletic. He has a beer belly or whatever. Like,
he does, but the way he throws the ball is not comparable to A.J. McCarron. You can't teach accuracy, and Mac Jones is really accurate.
He's accurate, but
strength,
do you think he's better than Tua? Would you take...
Okay, so personally, I don't know if you know this about me or not. I have always been, and still am, super low on Tua. Never been a fan of his. I think he got really, really lucky. His injury history scares me. He sort of has feet. Not big on him at all. I think Mac Jones is probably going to be better than Tua in the NFL.
Debatable.
That's for another time.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to get into this?
Let's go.
Let's just do... I don't know. Should we do who we think's going to go, who we would take?
We're not the GMs. Let's predict.
Let's predict.
Let's predict.
All right, sure. So number 1 and number 2 are givens. Trevor Lawrence.
Can we just appreciate Trevor Lawrence for 1 second?
Yeah. Sure.
I mean, like his legs are just phenomenal. He's got sneaky speed. I know he lost to Ohio State, but like he didn't do anything really that wrong. Like when Urban Meyer said the first round pick will be the toughest decision of my coaching career, that is the biggest line of crap I've ever heard.
If the Jets wouldn't have won that one game back in January or whatever, and the Jaguars didn't have the number 1 pick, Urban Meyer would not be the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He'd be at Texas.
No, he'd be with Fox Sports. But
you don't think he'd take the? I think he'd go to Texas.
Sark.
But no,
Sark's the answer.
The reason why he's going to Jacksonville is he gets to build this from scratch.
Yes,
and you get Trevor Lawrence. I mean,
you have a bunch of money. You have a great owner. You have a very good location, and now you have the golden boy in Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, it's like Andrew Luck going to the Colts. Slam dunk.
You know? I would, yeah, right. I doubt Trevor Lawrence is going to retire at 29, but yeah.
Andrew Luck could be so good still.
He could, man.
Really Zach Wilson drives me nuts. So people like this guy. People like the guy. I looked at his stats this year. Okay, don't get me wrong. On surface level, 33 touchdowns, 3 picks. BYU 11-1, fantastic. BYU usually plays a ridiculously hard first 6 games. They will travel anywhere in the country. But this year with COVID, they were playing like their toughest game was Coastal Carolina. They were playing some lollipops for 12 of the games. So it'd be like, Brandon Peters putting up ridiculous numbers against Akron, against UConn. So I don't know. With Zach Wilson, I just honestly don't believe he has the track record yet, or the physical capabilities of a Trey Lance to succeed.
So the other argument though with like a BYU player is like, oh, you don't have the line and you don't have the receivers, like they don't have as much skill as other people, like Mac Jones's receivers and stuff like that. But also like there's so little proof that he can compete at the next level.
It's also he's not playing the same talent. Yeah. I mean, like it kind of evens out at that point.
He's talented, don't get me wrong.
He's good, but oh my God, like he's set up for failure. I mean, you're going to the New York Jets. I mean, what's really promising about that? Like for Zach Wilson, what would be nice for him is get drafted by the Falcons.
Or the Patriots.
And you get developed behind a Matt Ryan, or you have a Belichick with a good system. Yeah. I mean, the New York Jets are the worst franchise ever to win a Super Bowl. And like I don't know. He doesn't really have the surrounding cast around him. Like the coach, I forget who the coach is, but I'm pretty sure he's not a quarterback guru.
Adam Gase.
No, Adam Gase got gone.
Oh,
that guy got bombed.
Yeah, I forget who the new coach is. It doesn't. That just shows you. I know every coach in the NFL, and I don't know the Jets coach. Like
Jets are bad, man.
Yeah.
So he's doomed. San Francisco. All right. So
wait. Just back to the Jets just real quick.
Yeah.
Personally, if I were the Jets, I would go Justin Fields here. I think that his legs and his style actually fits in their offense because, like, look at Sam Darnold did not work. Wilson is comparable to Sam Darnold. I would actually, by the way, rather have Sam Darnold than Zach Wilson even right now.
But, yeah, Darnold kind of got a bad rap.
So I'm just putting it out there. I would take Fields here if I were the Jets, but I'm not the Jets. They're taking Zach Wilson.
Unpopular
number 3.
There's not really a slam dunk after Trevor Lawrence to me. They have a successul NFL
a quarterback,
career.
Right?
A quarterback. I'm talking about quarterback. So in the Jets need a quarterback. It's gonna be tough no matter what.
I mean, they're taking the BYU kid.
Oh yeah,
it's over.
If I'm Trevor Lawrence,
Zach Wilson's gone.
I'm just very happy if I'm Trevor Lawrence that they somehow beat the Rams and the Browns back-to-back weeks.
All right, San Francisco.
It's going to be Mac.
It is going to be Mac.
Because,
I've done some readings and some listening. Apparently, every single GM says that this is a no-brainer for San Francisco.
Yeah, and, they do have a very good, trio of running backs, above-average defense. Jimmy G is going to start probably the first half of the year. Let's see if he can perform. I think Garoppolo does not get enough credit.
I think Garoppolo's getting traded to the Patriots.
Well, he that'd be great. Go back. He was great with the Patriots. And he'd be better than Cam Newton. So, yeah, Mac Jones, he's the guy. They're going to take him.
Yep. All right. Now, this is where it gets a little interesting. So, I'd like to say one thing about Atlanta. When the 49ers initially moved up, I have a buddy named Conan in my frat. He's a freshman who is from the area, and he's a huge 49ers fan. We thought they were taking Justin Fields. He wants Justin Fields. So, I started saying, if Mac Jones falls to the Falcons should take Mac Jones, and he's going to be even better than Matt Ryan was, and the Falcons will finally be good again. I just want to know what you think about
Is
that.
Matt Ryan the problem?
No.
That's the thing.
You're still
I think it's their defense.
Mac Jones wouldn't start for a year or two, but that being said, you still have, in my opinion, a home run in Atlanta's offense, especially with Ridley and Julio Jones.
But right now, it's fine, but I just feel like Matt Ryan, you could still milk 3 years out of him, and you have a chance to lock up one of the best tight end prospects ever.
Let's get into the pick. Now, this is easy for both of us, right? Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I mean, that guy's a superstar.
No doubt.
He was so good at Florida, made Jask's career so much easier.
When you have Jerry Jones trying to move up to 4 to take him,
if Pitts was a wide receiver, he'd still be very desired. I mean, he's just a freak athlete. You got to take him.
Like a tight end.
No, he doesn't, and
he's small.
By far, he's the third-ranked prospect overall by CBS Sports. I mean,
I'm also on CBS's list. Yeah,
you got to take him. With the Bengals, it's interesting.
This is easy to me. Taylor's an offensive
then I'm
guy.
thinking Dolphins. No, but here's the thing: what is up with people doubting Devontae Smith?
I have no idea.
Who cares that he's a pencil? Like, he's fast as hell. Like, he proved it in the best conference in football that you can rely on him.
When he played the quote-unquote
Ohio State
number 2 defense in the country in Notre Dame, he put up like 211 yards and 3 touchdowns. This dude has beat everyone.
I used to not respect him because I didn't know way too much about him. I'd say like in November when they were beating Ole Miss and people were starting to say like Heisman. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, Mac Jones is the one throwing him the football. But when I watched him against Notre Dame, I mean, holy cow. Ohio State, the greatest first half of all time.
I mean, I just want to say, like, he practices against Patrick Surtain, the cornerback from Alabama, who's probably the number 1 DB in the whole draft. Linebacker in, what's his name, like Owusu something from Notre Dame. He went against him in Notre Dame, couldn't stop him. You have all these guys that Smith's gone against, and he's beaten every single one of them with big games. Like, he's not my pick at 5 because the Bengals aren't going to take him. I originally thought that the Dolphins at 3 should take him, and I think that they were thinking when they traded with the 49ers, we're going to get him at 6, so let's drop, and we can get who we think is the number 1 receiver anyways at number 6.
Well, the thing with Chase...
Now it looks like they're not going to take him, actually.
With Chase, I mean, like... Chase and Burrow. I mean, they have so much chemistry from...
If we're sticking with the Bengals, like, you could go with the OT out of Oregon, who I think is going to be like Quentin Nelson. What's his name? Like, Penei Sewell or whatever from Oregon. He's a home run.
Yeah, Detroit, if they stick with it, would probably get him.
I agree, but with the Bengals specifically, Taylor's an offensive-minded head coach. Burrow and Jamar Chase were great together. You can get a later offensive lineman. This is a deep draft. You take Jamar Chase, it's no question to me.
Jamar Chase. And the Dolphins, I mean...
So
another reunion, interesting with Tua, and it's going to be an Alabama wide receiver.
Yes.
People like Waddle because he's got ridiculous speed, but Devontae Smith has 2 inches on the guy, Heisman Trophy winner. Like, people forget, like, Smith has been productive for 4 years at Alabama. He was the guy that caught the touchdown pass against Georgia to win.
Tua Tagovailoa.
From Tua.
Yes.
Like, honestly,
no one knows that. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
No one knows that.
It's just like, time just blends.
Yeah.
That was so long ago. But I would take a risk. I would take Smith over Waddle. And Waddle's also been dealing with injuries. I mean,
Smith never gets hurt either.
No.
He has a 6'6" wingspan, 6'6.5" or something like that.
Dude, like the way Sarkisian was able to develop offensive schemes for Smith to get him the ball. I mean, he's a guy where you just toss him the ball and like you trust him to get 10 yards of carry.
I mean, this opens the door for other receivers to be good because Smith, whenever he's on the field, is a difference maker. I mean, he can get open, he can catch, he's skinny and he's still broken tackles. Like, he's shifty. Now, that being said, the Dolphins are going to take Waddle here. Isn't that crazy?
They will.
Kind of sucks. I really hope they don't.
Right now, I see Justin Fields rejected number 8 to the Patriots. I don't know.
Don't even have number 8. What are you talking about?
Right here. Traded from the... Okay. Oh, it's a mock trade. So they're thinking that they're going to get it from the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers, here's the thing. Do you truly believe that Darnold is better than some of these NFL prospects?
Yeah. I like Darnold.
You would take Darnold over Fields? Like, we kind of know. I mean, like, Joe Brady, it's up to him. I mean, he developed Joe Burrow into a pretty good guy. But I just feel like Justin Fields, he's frustrating. But I just feel like there's a little bit more raw talent.
Let's move on. So we both think Waddle's going 6th.
Yeah.
And we think that the offensive lineman's going 7th, right? The Oregon guy.
Yeah.
I think that the Lions could benefit heavily from taking either Waddle or Smith, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to play it safe unless the Bears trade, but we're going to assume no trades. We're not that advanced. So let's get to the Panthers then, who have Sam Darnold, right?
Yeah.
Who I really, really like. So for me here, oh man, you either take Smith or Waddle, or you could go with another offensive lineman. I love Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. You could give him some protection. What do you think about this pick? This is an interesting one to me. This is the first really interesting pick that I'm not too sure about.
It's an interesting pick. There is talent around there. I mean, you got some good wide receivers. You got McCaffrey. It's mostly how do we make him comfortable, i.e. Sam Darnold. Yeah, how do you develop this offense? And it's going to be a second year in the system for the Carolina Panthers. I feel like Carolina actually wasn't as bad. I felt like they overperformed expectations last year. So, yeah, I'd go the Northwestern guy. I feel like there's a wide range of possibilities for this franchise.
Yeah, I'm going offensive linemen's back-to-back. I'm with you.
Yeah.
That'd be a good pick. All right, we're actually going to take a break real quick. I think that this is a pretty good point to stop before we get through the rest of the first round a little quicker later. That is next on Illini Drive. Welcome back into Illini Drive. Carson and I are giving our mock drafts right now just to update so far. This is what we think is going to happen, by the way. So far, we have Trevor Lawrence, number 1 to the Jaguars, Zach Wilson, number 2 to the Jets, 49ers taking Mac Jones, Pitts 4 to the Falcons, Jamar Chase 5th to the Bengals, Jalen Waddle 6th to the Dolphins. We have offensive linemen back-to-back 7 and 8 for the Lions and the Panthers. We have Oregon's Sewell going 7th, and then Northwestern's Rashawn Slater going 8th. So here we are at 9 for the Broncos, who just got Teddy Bridgewater, but Carson and I were talking during the break, and we both think that they're taking a QB 9th. Right, Carson?
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
Not for sure.
I misunderstood you then. So what do you think here then?
Because they still got Locke, they still got Bridgewater, but there's very uninspiring offense. I don't know. I'm reading this kind of stuff, and it just seems like they're going to take a corner.
See, I really think that they're going to go Trey Lance here.
I think Trey Lance would be good at this selection. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Like if I'm the owner, you just sold me.
So who do you think they're going to take then?
J.C. Horn, South Carolina corner, decent size.
Oh, you think he's going? Okay, all
right.
That's
That's potentially there's a couple good corners out there. The guy from Alabama, Surdin.
He's so good, dude.
That Ohio State guy is Sean Wade, not so good.
Sean Wade is overrated in my opinion.
Yeah, we've seen the track record. But yeah, I don't know. Broncos right here, maybe go defense.
So, see, I really think they're going to take Lance here, which is weird because they just traded for Bridgewater, but they seem to be very done with Locke. And if you want to, Trey Lance could be a quarterback for them for the future. Come on, Teddy Bridgewater is going to give him a year.
Yeah, Bridgewater's a trailblazer. He'll be there for a couple years, win 7-8 games, which he's capable of, and then you have to hand it off. Take the quarterback. I don't trust John Elway though.
Oh, for sure, no. John Elway is not a good.
Congrats, you somehow won with Peyton Manning that one year.
Front office, not for John Elway. Quarterback, good for John Elway.
Pretty decent.
Not front office.
He started off hot, and then the Broncos have just not been the same the past 5 years.
So are we going to agree on Lance here then?
You can take Lance. Go ahead.
All right. So you think they're going to go corner South Carolina. I have Lance 9. This is the first time we truly disagree. Let's go to number 10 then with the Cowboys because I would have had them taking the South Carolina kid.
Well, if they don't get him, then they would just get the Alabama certain. They would just get the other good corner. I mean, Dallas is
corner here. I think they need
defense. Oh my God, was poor. I mean, when Dak Prescott's there, Dak Prescott was averaging 400 yards through the air. You still got Elliott. You still got Amari Cooper. Their problem is they were giving up 40 points in the first half of the season.
They took CeeDee Lamb last year. I just don't think there's room for the Cowboys to take a receiver. I know Jerry Jones loves the flashy picks, but if it's not Pitts, there's no room here.
They got the offense. Dak is a good NFL quarterback.
You still have Zeke. You have CeeDee Lamb. You have Amari Cooper. You have weapons.
I think Dallas, if they can get their stuff together and stay healthy, are the de facto favorites for the East.
For the East, yes. That's a bad division, though. You're not going to have Andy Dalton out there. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, just clean up.
Let's go to the Giants then at 11. Easy for me.
Who isn't, buddy?
Offensive lineman. Got to protect Mac
Yeah.
Jones. Wait, is that his name?
No, Daniel.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel.
Sorry.
First of all, you could have, the Cowboys offensive line from 5 years ago. I'm like, Daniel Jones is the guy. But I do agree, like, he gets just whacked around.
I think they're going to take the USC offensive lineman, by the way.
They could.
Yeah.
And then what do you think at 12?
Oh, this is super easy. Devontae Smith.
Got to get him.
Finally. Yeah. He goes
that'd be nice to give Hurts, some weapons, actually keep the defense honest from the running game. Devontae, dude, I don't understand why. Is he just too tiny? Like, they think he's going to snap like a pencil?
I don't know, man.
Like, if he weighed a little more, would he be okay?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm very high on Devontae Smith. We've seen him. We've talked about it. Like, that is a steal if the Eagles can snag him at the 12 spot.
The Chargers, I think, have to take an offensive lineman.
Dude, I'm excited for the Chargers this year.
Yeah, me too.
That's another thing. You just kind of have to shore up and get protection.
You know what?
Does Slater drop that far?
Slater, who's
Northwestern.
we had
him taken.
We did. We had him as the second one. I'm actually going to change it up a little bit here. I think that the Giants are going to take Micah Parsons, the linebacker from Penn State.
100% the Giants. At
11. I think they're taking.
You think that early?
I think Micah Parsons is going 11. I'm going to change it up. I think that they're okay. I think they need some defense.
Dude, that guy is insane. He didn't even play last year.
Because he opted out, and that's why it's a little lower. I think they're going to go Parsons 11. And then I think the Chargers are taking the USC offensive lineman 13th.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going here. Vikings, I don't really care. 15th, Patriots, that's where Justin Fields lands, right?
That's Justin Fields, Trey Lance area.
Yeah.
If Trey Lance doesn't get picked by the 49ers and drops, I mean, that's where the last top-tier quarterback will be taken. Because after that, who's the fifth guy? Kellen Mond? Yeah, no thanks.
I think that the Vikings are going to go with the probably the Virginia Tech corner at 14. They need defense. They're fine on offense.
What number are we at right now?
We just did 15. Arizona, dude, Arizona is the weirdest drafting team ever. Like, you have your linebacker in Simmons. You just got Watt on the defensive side. You have receivers. You don't have a running back, but there's no running back to take unless you for some reason take Najee Harris. Who the heck are the Cardinals against?
You got the offense. I think you got to build that defense a little more.
You could take the TCU safety. That guy's really good.
They need defense.
Trayvon Moehrig.
Dude, when they beat the Bills last year, they were chilling, and then they had that late season collapse, went to 8-8, and the NFC West is by far the toughest division in football.
For sure.
It's ridiculous when you have to deal with Russell Wilson, now Matthew Stafford at the Rams. 49ers are going to be good again. Like, that is just a brutal, brutal division. You got to shore up that defense. You got to have a guy that can ball hawk and beat all those good quarterbacks.
Raiders, it doesn't matter. They're probably going to go with the edge from Michigan, I think.
They need defense. Holy cow.
Dolphins are going to take another offensive lineman, best available. That's probably where the Virginia Tech kid goes, because people don't, like, he's high on a lot of people's lists, but he has some injury problems. But I think that he was a little inconsistent at the start of the year, but I think that's the Dolphins are going to go receiver 6 and then offensive lineman 18th. They might, dude, they're going to push the Bills for the division. Like,
who? Patriots?
Yeah. No, the Dolphins.
Oh, the Dolphins?
The Dolphins are going to be good, man.
I think they're good, but realistically...
Well, actually, I don't like Tua.
Exactly. So that's the thing. A lot of their wins last year, like, yeah, sure, they won like 4 out of 6 to end the year, even though they missed the playoffs. They were pulling Tua and putting Fitzpatrick in there with a snap of their fingers.
Now, right?
And Fitzpatrick's the one that beat the Raiders. He's the one that won, I forget, whatever the third to last game of the season was.
Is he with the football team now, Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Yeah, I think he did. He got signed. I like Fitzpatrick, but he's gone. Tua's going to have to prove it. I mean,
and you're giving him a receiver and an offensive line to do so.
This is the year. I mean, you remember we heard reports. There was Miami Dolphin players off the record that said, like, yo, like, this is not the guy. Like, we don't trust Tua. So Tua knows the pressure's on. I mean, if the Dolphins realistically only go 7-9 with all this talent, like, this is a young team, and you can't be stopped in the tracks because of Tua's, unaggressive tendencies or not being able to make enough plays.
All right, 19, the football team. This is tough. Fitzpatrick's your starting quarterback, I guess. You're not taking a quarterback here. Do you give him a... Why were they good last year? There's no reason they should have won that division.
Well, first of all, Ron Rivera is a tough guy.
He's a great coach.
And Alex Smith played well enough to get them in the playoffs. It was a horrible division. No Dak Prescott. You know, you're dealing with an awful Carson Wentz at the time. I mean, they kind of just walked in there. Hey, they gave the Bucs the run for their money in the playoffs.
I know they did.
But yeah, I don't know.
You go Rondale Moore here? I mean, like,
take a chance, get some playmakers.
I don't know.
I don't think Rondale Moore is the first round pick. Is he?
He's CBS's top wide receiver.
Rondale Moore was a game changer at Purdue.
Rashad Bateman, maybe. He's good.
Bateman's got. I would take Bateman. Bateman's got more prototypical size. But if you want just sheer speed, if you want popcorn flick, then yeah, take Moore.
All right, and then our last pick that I want to do at least is the Bears. I think that if they don't move up and take a quarterback, I would go with the Oklahoma State offensive lineman, Trevin Jenkins.
Yeah, they need line. I mean, you have to be able to
protect. You're a Bears fan, right?
Not really. It's complicated. I'm just all college. I'm a big fantasy football guy, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Darrisaw is pretty decent. I mean, 6'5", 314. I mean, you have to give Andy Dalton all the time he needs in the pocket. He's not going to be able to extend a play. Like, Trubisky, not the best player, but he can at least make something out of nothing compared to Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton needs perfect offensive line, 150 yards ground on the game, like, they got to go offensive line here. And that's been one of the biggest problems with the Chicago Bears recently.
My prediction for Dalton, 20 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
30 interceptions? I could see more. I don't think he'll take chances or something. I think he's going to be super conservative.
Have a completion percentage below 50.
I could see like 17 and 13 touchdown interception ratio.
Dude, I don't know.
I have no faith in Andy Dalton. I think the Bears are going to be horrible this year.
Same. Still with a good defense, though.
Was it the right decision to just move on from Trubisky?
Yes, but they got the wrong guy. You could have gotten Bridgewater for $3 million or Darnold for a sixth, second, and fourth or something. Like, they just got the wrong guy.
The argument you can make, though, is that Bridgewater just continually is like a Trubisky. He'll get you 8 and 8, and you're just stuck in that purgatory. You know what I mean?
What about Darnold?
You might as well just crash and burn. I feel like, I don't know.
Dalton for $10 million just doesn't make sense. It sucks.
He'll be gone. He'll be gone soon. That's why the Bears need to trade up. Why don't you trade up and get a Trey Lance?
Okay, so let's talk about it.
Yeah.
We got 5 minutes left. This is what I want to talk about. What trades are going to happen? Let's go back to the Bears because we're just going to start with them. Why not?
Yeah.
You don't need Anthony Miller. He's going to drop passers for you. If you need to give up a third and 20, fine. So where are they moving up?
Like, if you don't believe, like, if your Pace needs, like, Pace isn't going to be here for the next 20 years.
We think
without success.
We think that if you move into the top 15, you're getting a quarterback.
Yeah. Like,
could they trade with the Vikings? Could they trade with the Giants? Could they go up to 7 for the Lions?
I want to see Nagy actually have a quarterback that he gets to select. I mean, Trubisky was selected under the John Fox era, Ryan Pace. Like, he made the most of it out of their first year together. I mean, now you're getting Andy Dalton, just a washed-up quarterback. Mm-hmm. I mean, Nagy's not really getting a fair shake, in my opinion. Like, Ryan Pace, you have to make a home run pick here. Like, give him Justin Fields.
I just want excitement, dude.
There's nothing exciting about Andy Dalton. This is the most boring. Like, this reminds me of, like, the end of the Jay Cutler, John Fox era. You're going to go 5-11. You're not going to beat the Packers. Kirk Cousins, is probably going to at least win 2.
And the only problem is that there's no great quarterbacks for next year either. Like, who are they going to get next year if they're bad at quarterback? No one.
And that's the thing. And it's so tough to sign a free agent or make trades. Like, yeah, I know Matthew Stafford's going to, like, the Rams, but usually
they gave up a ton.
You got to give up a ton of capital. Don't give up a bunch of capital for the Jay Cutler. Like, you might as well start now. Like, this is the last chance for Ryan Pace. Start young, get on the ground floor with a Lance or Fields, and build this franchise up.
If you make the home run trade here, get Trey Lance or Justin Fields or somehow by some miracle Mac Jones, and it doesn't work out, listen, buddy, like, you tried your best. It's over. That's fine. So be it. You failed. Congratulations. You're super rich. You're a former GM. Go do something else.
Do you want to lose? Do you want to get fired because of a redhead Andy Dalton?
Would you rather be like Andrew Buchanan and John Buchanan and just do nothing and be looked at as that, or try something and then get fired because of that? Or it could work and you could save the Bears.
Like, do you realistically say they don't draft a quarterback? Like, there's no way. Let's say Andy Dalton and the Bears go 4-12 next year. Okay. Do you honestly allow Ryan Pace to have another season to draft and build this team again? No, they're going to get rid of him, and they're going to start from scratch with a new GM.
If you're Pace, it's a no-brainer here. I'm with you. Like, just.
But right now, I like a little bit of hype. There's not enough hype for getting a quarterback. I don't think the Chicago Bears are going to get a quarterback. They're going to get an offensive lineman,
stinks,
which really won't change the outlook of this year.
I think that the Patriots are going to move up to number 8. That's my prediction. I bet them and the Panthers flip.
They could,
yeah, and they go get a quarterback.
Panthers got their guy,
and the Bears are going to wish they did that. Then they're not going to, and it's going to stink.
Just looking at some interesting picks. Najee Harris at 24 to the Steelers. Replace James Conner.
That'd be great. The Steelers take a running back like every year, though.
That's the thing with running backs, I feel like they're a dime a dozen. I feel like outside external factors have a huge success on a running back. Why do you think Ezekiel Elliott was so good his rookie year? You know, he kind of had wide receivers to keep them honest, and he had a great offensive line. You know, Le'Veon Bell on the Steelers, he's fantastic. He's the number 1 fantasy player 3 years in a row. He goes to the Jets. He stinks now. Yeah. You know, if you have a great offensive line, you got a creative play caller that gets you involved in the passing game, you're going to have a good running back.
All right, last thing before we close up. Illinois got 3 guys in the draft. I think one of them's getting drafted, and that's Kendrick Green. Where do you think he's going? How high? Like, which round do you think? Obviously, he's not going to be a first or second round pick.
No, he's a second day or third day or maybe. I don't know, probably 4 or 5.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think 4 is good because I'm hearing some 3, which is really weird because I thought that he was maximum 5, but since I've heard so much 3, I think he's going to go late 4.
Give Josh a chance. That's what I think.
Josh Matterbebe?
Yeah.
Oh, he should be a 7th round pick, yeah.
At least. I mean,
also 4 guys in because Hobbs and Eifler.
He's
too.
super athletic, can jump, makes the big catches. Like, he was insane. Like, he helped out Illinois so much when we made a bowl game.
Yeah.
He truly deserves a chance. I wrote a feature about him, and he compares himself to like a DJ Metcalf. DK Metcalf. Like, he is very confident. He is a very confident guy. He will stick around and try to make it in the league.
Yeah, my predictions for Illini are Green 4th or 5th, Matterbebe late 6, early 7, Eifler late 7, Hobbs undrafted, and then Eifler might get signed and join a team, but I don't like Nate Hobbs. I think
I like Eifler.
Nate Hobbs is like doing work right now, and he had a good pro day, but I just can't see it. I think Hobbs should have stayed another year. I'll die on that hill. He made a bad decision leaving. He was the best defensive back in a terrible defensive back group, and you didn't do anything.
Do you really like? He probably just thought like, how much would my stock really improve?
It could, dude. Look at what Owen Carney's doing, or like Jake Hansen, for example. Hansen's going to be a 6th round pick next year, and that's good. Like.
Yeah, Hansen wasn't ready. I think he's been battling with injuries.
I love Jake Hansen.
Oh, dude, I love him. He's my favorite player.
I love him. He's fun to talk to. He's a good interview. Gives you honest answers. He's always willing to be there. Even after tough losses, he gives you an honest answer. And he doesn't say no comment or refuse to answer a question.
I.e. Brandon Peters. Brandon Peters is going to be like Joe Burrow this year.
Yeah, okay.
He's going to become the 1st round pick.
Got about 5 minutes until the draft, everyone. I think it's going to be a really interesting draft night, or I'm hoping it is. Maybe it will be boring, but... Thanks for listening, everyone. This has been Illini Drive.